Board of Health meeting Thursday, November 7th, 2024, 6 p.m. in the land use room. Present at the meeting is
Terry Putnam.
Sue Braska.
Tom Hibbert.
Tom Hamer, okay. Public, we have Erica. Erica, what's your last name?
Crowdy. Crowdy.
Cloudy, that's right, okay. And we have Kayleen Simmons.
Hi, Kayleen.
Hi, how are you?
Public Health Coordinator. We do not have Tricia Simmons,
Trish Settle.
Trish Settle. Who's Simmons?
Kayleen.
Kayleen Simmons. And Dr. Labiniak hasn't joined us yet. Oh, Samantha,
Yep.
Samantha's on.
Samantha called in as well.
Samantha. our
Hi,
secretary, is on.
Samantha.
Hello.
Okay. So public comment, is there anything you want to say, Erica? No, all right, so no public comment. The minutes, I'll leave. Did you get to see the minutes?
I did
Samantha
not.
sent
I know
out?
Samantha sent out another copy.
I
I had no problem with
copy if
with
you
the
wanna-
first copy, but I didn't look at the second
Yeah,
copy.
I just had a couple things, a couple capital letters, I think that was about it, and I'll leave those, Samantha, with Tom, and he can give them to you when you're feeling better.
Yeah, I don't see anything that changed from, I looked at them earlier. So I'm fine with the minutes. I move that we accept the minutes with the changes that
Right.
Samantha made.
I second that, all in favor?
Terry Putnam, yes.
Sue Broski, yes, so we're all set with that. On the nursery report, we don't have Tricia to give it to us personally,
I did.
but we do have written copies.
Thank you.
Which we will just include, I don't know if you want to review it just to see what she's been up to. I will include that with our minutes.
Okay.
For October, that's what she did in October.
COVID's going down again. That's good.
So
That's
only,
good.
only 11 people were vaccinated at the clinic, huh? Food pantry.
Yeah. I think there were more at the senior center did a clinic separate from us. And I think they had a pretty good turnout.
That's good.
Yeah, I'm good at that.
And then Mary Ann. Okay, so we'll put that in our report. Okay, renewal status, renewal of the permits.
Yes, so all of our annual permits, kind of been in a holding pattern with getting the e-permitting online and all that. I think as of today, I feel like we're finally in a good place. I got a letter. I was a little slow to get a response from the company. But with the information that we need to provide to all the licensees, of how to log in, how to create their accounts and all that stuff. But I did get that today. So I was just working on kind of finalizing a letter to send out, and hopefully if Samantha's in tomorrow, we can get a letter sent out maybe tomorrow, if not early next week. And hopefully it goes smoothly. But I have been able to, I have like a beta version of the software. And I think the first year might be a little tough for people because they'll have to fill everything out. But when they go to renew next year, everything will auto-populate and they'll just have to scroll through, click, pay the fee, and it'll be a lot easier. So
So they won't have it done by December 1st.
right. So and I put that in the letter as, technically that's when it's due, but we'll be flexible this year. Because we can't, we're getting this out kind of late. It's a big change. We're not going to expect everyone to get it done on time. So
Do we have the bandwidth that if they wanted to come to the town, if they wanted to come here and
Yeah.
have somebody walk through with them?
yeah. So I just talked to the company today, or emailed with them, I guess, and we're gonna schedule a training for Samantha and Karen and myself, and some of the other departments will use the software to do, like right now for septic, it goes, we take one of the copies and bring it over to conservation. And there's a sheet that Sabrina signs. So that will all be done through the system, and most of the town departments already do something similar with the building software. So I don't think they'll need any training, but if anybody throughout town hall needs help with it, we can.
Now, are you
get
doing the training or is the company? doing
The
the
company's
training?
gonna do the training.
Okay.
And so once you're trained, if say Joe wanted to come with help for his renewal,
Yeah,
somebody would be able to sit.
Yeah.
Okay.
and because we already have that for building it's like a whole new version of the software, but it's the same company, so
Okay.
it's pretty similar. They've been using it for, what was it, 2017, 2018, somewhere around there that they got online. And they have like a little computer in like the lobby part of our office that sometimes if people can't do it, they come and we can kind of help them
Good.
out.
Because that may speed things up.
Yeah, yeah. And then there's kind of the worst case scenario, but if someone truly can't do it online, we can accept a paper application, and then either Karen, Samantha, or I can enter it into the system that way. That if a lot of people choose to do that, that would be very time consuming and defeat the purpose. So I'm gonna,
Maybe
kind
you
of-
give them a one-time.
yeah, in the wording of the letters and everything, try to encourage, do it online and, but if, I think there's less and less people, especially most of these people are business owners, they have some sort of online presence for their businesses, so I don't think many people will have a huge issue with it, but if someone is like, I don't have an email address,
Yes.
there might still be a few out there. We can work with them to make it happen, so.
Is the system for the whole town hall, is that like backed up every day, once a week, or
The
does our technical service department?
Yeah.
Jim,
Jim, and then they use Wally computer, so I think it's like,
so is it's backed up
yeah,
at a regular basis?
um,
All right, you have all the new Rest Fusion and Blackboard and the
Yeah.
Bagel Place and all the new.
yep. So one other thing that I'm planning to do is I'm way behind on food inspections, which is kind of seems to be the constant status. I think that's how it was with Tom too. But I'm gonna make in the next month and a half, make a solid push to try to get a lot of them done. And I'll bring copies of the letters. And then I can, when I'm doing the inspection, I can say, hey, did you have a chance to log in the e-permitting yet? Do you need any help? And kind of have some in-person help as well. Kind of get two birds with one stone and get my inspections done and make sure they're gonna do their applications properly and make it easy for everyone, so we'll see how that goes, but we should have the letters out and I'm hopeful that it will go smoothly.
And so when they go in, when they do this permitting and they put all the information in, how do they scan in their certifications?
Yeah, so there's just like they call it the paperclip button, but just to attach anything that they have
That's if they
have
have a
scanned.
scanner, that's if
Right,
they have it,
right.
otherwise they'll have to handle
Yeah, so yeah, that would be the main thing, or they could even take pictures on their phones, it doesn't have to
it.
be
Okay,
like a
that's
PDF,
right.
so they could attach a picture.
And then once that's in there, so next year, when they have to do all the certifications, Samantha can go in there and see that, oh, it doesn't expire until 2027 or something.
Yeah, so,
We don't have to keep sending it in every single year.
right. Right, so that will be I think in the long run, it will be a lot easier. I'm anticipating some complaints the first year. But,
Oh, yeah, it's gonna be hard
but
next year.
someone told, I don't know if it was someone from the company or someone from another town that did the same thing. And they were actually surprised with how few complaints they got the first year. I think just because so many people are used to
Yeah. we can-
doing things online now, that a lot of people were like, oh, this is great. I don't have to make a trip to town hall. I can do it all online and, so we'll see how it goes.
So our contract. Is it just for the year? It's not for 3 years or 2 years?
Um,
And
I-
is it, and when does it start?
it starts on the day that we go live. So in the next week or so, it will start. So there was like the way the payments were set up is, I just got an invoice recently that I have to pay, but it was like 20, 40, 40 for the build of the software at various stages, with the last stage being when you go live. And then it's like a little over 6,000 a year for the to maintain the contract. So that will begin the day we go live. So that's all in the budget. It's all,
They added that.
They
money
added
into
that,
our money-
yeah.
Into what, under?
so they added it into our budget as a capital expense for the build. And then they added the appropriate amount to Jim's software maintenance budget.
Okay,
So it won't actually come, once we're up and running, it won't actually come out of our budget, but it's accounted for. We have the POs open and everything, so. So, and then I think moving forward, I think Jim will manage that invoice. Or I'll get it and I'll just give it to him and he'll take care of it. So. So yeah, so that's where that is. A little later than I hoped, but I think finally. I got everything. They sent me over some stuff yesterday, so finally got what I needed, and I think we'll be in decent shape. So
okay,
the recently updated regulations. We posted it in the paper, because you're supposed to do that, and just a summary of what was changed. And so I did that for the tobacco, the rescinding of the food regulation, and the fees, even though the fee schedule is not a regulation. I was doing it one notice to the paper, I'll paying for it already, might as well put it in there. The regulations I had them attested in the clerk's office, they have a copy, we have a copy, and then I sent the copy to the DEP. Because they keep the register of all the Board of Health regulations.
and I don't know, do they have them all now?
I think so. In our binder, there was a list, from,
Well, there's a list of our regulations, but is there the list?
yeah, there was a list
From
from
the
the
state.
central register
Okay.
of what was in there, so.
Okay.
I think they changed the address, so I found something from like 22, which was a different address than what we had on file. That had been provided by DEP, so I sent it to the address that I found. But we had a document, I think it must have been after we updated the food regs, I think that was in 2018. And there was a list that was clearly from the central register of what was on
Right.
file.
I think Alex put in the most recent
Yeah.
address somewhere in there.
Yeah,
So we
there was
can know.
copies of what he said. But I'll try to find out how to get the record of what we have on file there from DEP, just to confirm they have everything, but,
And who is DEP? Is that Environmental Protection?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And first, I don't know why I guess initially boards of health were just cared about septic and wells, so if DEP made sense. But any Board of Health regulation has to, even if it's about food or vaccines or anything else, DEP is the one that
You had to clear everything
maintains
else.
the central register of local Board of Health regs.
Okay.
So that was all sent out, and the fee schedule. So I'm with the renewal letters, just to make sure all of our licensees know. I added a little addendum for the fee schedule. And then for the tobacco licensees, the tobacco information we'll give, and the tobacco ones will include a copy of the printed regulation, just so they have it. And then we will have done everything we need to do. We notified everyone. It's up on the website. DEP, so that should be all good.
So do we have everyone's email address? Of these, all the restaurant, all the owners? or-
We will after
Yes,
everyone does
afterwards.
their permit. We have a few lists, because right now we keep a spreadsheet of all the licenses, so for certain. I think it's just how it was set up for certain licenses. When whether it was Karen or Cindy or whoever was before Cindy. Certain ones have a line for email, so for certain licenses, we have email addresses easily accessible. I think it's on most of the application forms now, but I don't know if everyone fills it out. So we have a lot of them, but I don't think we have like a good list. But after e-permitting, we will have a really good list.
And after e-permitting, they have to fill in that email, or they can't go?
Yeah, they have to
Okay.
make an account with their email address.
Okay, that's to be in there.
So. So then that's the other big advantage of. The e-permitting is just having all that information right there, readily accessible. So if we ever. Something changed with. Food or septic or anything, we could just very easily. Send out a notice to everyone that we wanted to target with that, so.
All right,
So yeah,
old business.
no updates on the fog regulation.
Yeah, okay.
Tobacco,
All right, yes, what happened with there?
they served their time, they paid their fine. Good to go. Hopefully, they don't sell again, hopefully no one else sells. 4 in 1 year, I'm sure the treasurer likes it, because the $1,000 was hot. And it just goes into the general fund, so.
Yeah,
So it's good for the town, although we didn't have 4 people sell to minors, but
it's a big difference with the 100 fine, huh?
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yep.
That would give me religion.
Yeah,
I would be religious about having to pay it,
yeah,
$1,000.
Yeah,
yeah, and especially it's within 3 years, the 1, 2, 3 for violations, so if they sell again within
Sure.
3 years, it's $2,000.
Mhm.
And a third time, it's $5,000.
And who keeps track of that? Do you?
Yeah,
Or
I do,
Yes,
and
our
the Pioneer Valley
friends at the-
Tobacco,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So they have a whole spreadsheet, so like when the email they send me when they say there was a sale, it's like they give me the form I need to fill out, they say this was their first violation. So they're on top of it, but I keep track of it too, so.
yeah, they're very good. They're very
Yeah,
informative, the
Yeah.
meetings they came to. That's
Mhm.
good.
yeah.
Mhm.
So all the septic business has slowed down a little bit. But still steady.
Construction repair.
Some perk tests, 151 Point Grove Road, that is, I think they're gonna try to cut off a chunk of the lot behind the VFW on Point Grove. So I think that's the lawn behind the VFW is where we did the perk.
They got frontage, or is it
Yeah, they have
That's not
frontage,
5
they have frontage on 2 states.
oh, on 2 states,
So,
okay. Yeah.
Um,
What do they use that building for now? Do you know?
I think it's vacant.
It's too bad.
Yeah. I had heard. I think like when I first started, I had heard someone wanted to turn it into like a brewery or something, but I don't think that panned out. I actually drove by there today. I think there's like a for lease. There was a sign. It was either for lease or for sale. I don't remember.
It's too bad.
Yeah. 8 Patriot Way, that was a repair. 186 Mort Vining and 66 Powder Mill Road, both repairs.
Patriot Way, is that that's all sand, isn't it?
Yeah.
Wonder why they needed a repair.
Yeah, I don't remember what was wrong with the system.
Okay, final
Final
inspection.
inspection, 76 Coes Hill. 51 North Lake. 648 College Highway. 648 College Highway is the plaza with the oil company and the Chinese restaurant. So that one is there.
Oh, that's
That,
been repaired a few times.
yes, so I think this was the fourth repair. They've killed, in like 20 years, they've killed 3 systems,
It's from the, is it from the Chinese restaurant?
most likely, yeah. All the grease, they have a grease trap and everything, but
There's no sewer that far.
no, there's not. So they did, this last system, they got like, they did get like 12 years out of it, which isn't terrible. But the one before that, they only got like 2 or 3 years out of it.
So now
Oh,
what
wow.
what are they doing? Are they removing everything and then putting a new system in, or is there room to put a
That's,
new?
they had to rip it out.
Yeah,
There was nowhere else to go. They did, the past 2, they were using the infiltrators, one of the alternative systems. But they at that point, they had like 2 dining rooms. And when you go in the dining room on the right is, they're just using it as storage now. And I think the owner wants to cut that off from the rest, since they're not planning to use it again, cut that off from the restaurant and just make it, add it to his office in the oil, because he runs the oil company there. So that was on the table, but either way, I went in there and that is just storage, so they went from like 50 seats to 25 seats. So they were able to do a pipe and stone system, which I think is a little more resilient to,
50 seats, that's a lot of seats. for
yeah,
them.
they had a lot of, and right now they're takeout only. So they don't even, they have a dining room still, but they don't use it. But the code requires a minimum of 25 seats for the design, so that's what they did. And so they were able to, the alternative system they used shrunk the footprint of the leach field. But now they're doing a conventional system.
Okay, so they have restrooms?
Yeah.
So what does the code say? How many seats do you have to have in order not to have a public restroom? Is it 19
It's not in our code. I think it's in the,
plumbing?
it's in plumbing or building code, I think. Because in the food code, you just have to provide a restroom for employees. You don't necessarily have to provide one
Because
to
Maine
the public.
Moon, there was a thing there that they didn't have public restrooms, so therefore they could only have X amount of seats.
Oh, okay.
They're
Yeah,
not gonna have a public restroom.
yeah. Yeah,
So it's
I
not
mean,
in our code.
I think you would think if there's anyone sitting there to eat a full meal that's gonna be there for an hour,
Yeah. it seems to be
you
that.
should have a bathroom available, but as far as I know, it's not in the code. But that install went really well. They did a good job with it. So they had to put in all new tanks because they were getting a little older. Because with the last repair, they were able to use the tanks because they were only like 3 years old at that point. But they put all the owner is really on top of like monitoring the grease and everything. So they put there's a grease trap and then a holding tank. And so everything from the kitchen goes through those 2 tanks, and then from the bathrooms, it goes into just a regular septic tank. So there's 3 tanks, and every cover on all 3 tanks has a riser to grade. So they can easily open it up and see if there's too much grease in there, see if it needs to be pumped and
Okay, so wait a minute, so the water from the kitchen does not go to the conventional septic system, it goes to the holding tank,
well, no, it goes to the
grease.
the grease trap, and then it goes into the holding tank and
And then
into the
system.
regular tank. So so that's good because it just has one more place, because usually all the grease and everything will float, and then just the liquid will pass through into the next. So having the grease trap and then another tank and then the regular tank, like that should help it.
And then do they have a
As well.
grease trap under their sink also?
Yeah, they have one of the small grease interceptors under the sink. So hopefully they clean that enough. And I think the building owner has a little less control of what they do in the kitchen, but he was like, all these covers are gonna be too gray, and he can check in on it weekly or however much he wants to make sure that they're getting it pumped out enough. Um, so hopefully that will last a long time. Knock on wood. But they did a good job with it. And then 202 South Long Yard Road, that was a repair at a house. Housing, we had 8 Curtis Road.
Is that
That,
passed over?
yeah, the foreclosure and that, yeah. So that, I just talked to the bank. And the eviction was delayed. But they're on top of it, so I think still
And is the problem inside the house or outside the house or both?
a little, I think more inside, that there's clutter and junk outside, but it wasn't atrocious that it's like any emergency, but it was one of those ones you drive by and you're like, oh, doesn't look great. But 80 Bungalow, that one, as far as I know, I have to go out and schedule the inspection, but as far as I know, the water and the heat are back working. They've had some, I think Highland Valley's having a really hard time getting vendors. They approve people for services, but then they can't get vendors to do the services. So I've been playing phone tag with the gentleman from Highland Valley. But I think they're on the right track.
Yeah,
Can
this
only
is the
hope.
one that we've talked about for
Yeah.
several meetings.
Yeah.
Now, was
Okay.
this
Right.
going on before you got on the board?
This was going.
I
been
think
going-
so. I mean, because I think it was at the first meeting, so
It's-
it's been.
It's been
couple of
going. I
years.
think it started last October.
Yeah.
October 23.
Oh, yeah, I've been on.
So-
that was-
So it's kind of at a weird point where it's like, it's not really anything so bad that we would condemn it, but it's taking forever to get it done. So we could call her in for a hearing and just kind of try to light the fire a little bit and say that, you really need to get this done. But it's tough with Highland Valley because it's like, oh, she's approved for X, Y, and Z, we can do all this, and then just because it's approved doesn't mean it's actually gonna get done.
So I wonder who their vendors are.
Yeah,
Remember we were talking about
yeah,
like handyman or something like
Yeah.
that?
yeah, so
So what ramification right now for Highland Valley? They can just
none for them. I mean, they're just they're not legally required to do anything. It's, she's the homeowner, so
Mm.
they're there to help her. And it's a tough,
And does she want to get stuff fixed?
I think so. I
So
think
what is
so.
it now? Trash outside?
Yeah, there's
There's some mold?
yeah, some mold in the basement, and but I think she's on fuel assistance, so I think they were able to fix and make sure all the heat was working. And so it's just the mold in the basement, and then just the junk, and
Okay.
there's a pool outside which hasn't been open in years, is holding water. All the trash and stuff heading into the winter, it's not as much of an issue, standing water, all that, because it's cold. But
Maybe. It
Definitely.
might not be.
yeah, that's
I mean,
true.
it's 75, 80 degrees.
That's
now.
true.
So. They're not concerned that she's in mold? I mean, that she's living in a house with mold?
I mean, that is a concern. It's all contained to the basement,
Mm.
so it's not ideal, but it's the living area where she is actually living is decent.
But is there really much you can do if she's been approved? The work's been approved, but they just can't find anybody
Right,
to do it.
right. So it's,
And do we know they're looking? I mean,
I
because
think
if it's
so.
no, like my
I
mother
think so,
said,
and
there's no skin
the-
off their nose.
right,
I mean, are they
with
really-
the mold Highland Valley might not be able to do for her. but I think there was a lot of, and I don't know all the details, it's not my business, but, financial
Mm.
issues that, like identity theft or something that they got straightened out. So I think she's in a better place there, so she probably has some money that, because ultimately the homeowner is responsible for all the maintenance. Um, so hopefully, anything they can't do, she can hire out and get it done.
Mm.
So, so that's one
She has
that's,
heat and hot water, it's one that you had last year.
yeah, yeah, that's the big thing, so. So I'll stay on top of that one, and that's a tough one. You don't wanna kick someone out, but also you don't want it to drag out for a year. And maybe if I had condemned it the first day I was there, they would have been, displaced person, and everyone would have chop and got everything done, and she would have been back. Who knows? Maybe not, maybe not,
Can't
but
be more than quarterback, all that stuff.
exactly. So,
Aaron Circle.
Aaron Circle, I think there was another issue at Aaron Circle, and forgot to, I forgot to update it. So there was a violation at Aaron Circle, another unit. Honestly, a similar situation to the 80 bungalow. It was an elder, and, some, uh, I don't know, I wouldn't necessarily describe it as hoarding, but, definitely some difficulty with self-care and things like bringing the trash out and taking bad food out of the fridge and things like that. So, there was no access issues. It wasn't like there was so much stuff in there you can't get in and out through the doors safely or anything like that. But the kitchen, needed some serious TLC. So, I did issue a violation for that, and it's taken a little longer than I thought it would. Um, for the same reason with Highland Valley, but, he was able to, he has some funding, private funding as well. So it really just needs a deep clean. The all of the bad food out of there into the dumpster, clean the surfaces. I don't think it needs any major, repairs. It just, this stuff that's in there needs to get clean. So, but that was moving. It was kind of at a standstill for about a week. I think this was 2 weeks ago that I was there. It was at a standstill for about a week, but, I just got the update. So that sounded like that should be happening quickly. So I'll try to get out there next week and see, make sure it got done.
Now, is Erin Circle still part of the housing authority?
No, it is, Wayfinders runs it.
Okay.
So they're
Do we still have housing authority in town?
I think,
Yeah.
Do they?
they have
do- they
Depot
do
Street,
Depot?
but I don't know if,
it used to be Depot and Erin Circle, and there was one other, when I was on it 20 years ago.
oh, okay,
Yeah,
yeah, so
it used to be both of them.
Yeah,
Wayfinders
And
have
there used to
Aaron
be a few
Circle.
houses also.
yeah,
I know they have at least one house, because we had that one with the trash, on Congamon Road last year.
Housing. or-
That was Housing Authority. But I think there's I think Southwick has a separate, board for the house. There's a Southwick Housing Authority, but it's run by the Westfield Housing Authority.
Huh,
So like the day-to-day, the maintenance and the staff, it's the same people that run Westfield.
okay.
But I think Southwick still has a separate
I
board.
think they do too, because I forget where it was, but somebody was saying that they were opening.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But Engelhardt used to be the chairman of the housing authority way back. He
I was
passed away.
doing George Lincoln was on it. That was when I was.
Must be that too.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's it for housing. And food service, we had a new food truck called, Our Mother's Kitchen. And I'm drawing a blank at where they even did an event.
Mr. Lewis, right?
It might have been the brewery. I can't even remember.
I'm sure it was at Tractor Supply.
Tractor Supply. Yes. Thank you.
No problem.
Um, Hamden County Health Coalition. We had our meeting this morning. Nothing too crazy going on there. We're still kind of transitioning to our new home since they left Pioneer Valley Planning Commission. And they just hired a consultant company to do all of the to be the public health emergency preparedness planner and do all that other stuff for us and help us with our EVS plans and all that fun stuff. So
And there was okay, no longer PBC.
Yeah.
PVCA. Pioneer Valley.
Pioneer Valley Planning Commission. Safety Committee, we had a meeting 2 weeks ago and working on I gave out a bunch of checklists from Department of Labor Services to all the departments that have facilities to work on and go through the checklists and see where we have holes and things that need to be addressed.
Tom is supposed to be the OSHA officer.
Yeah.
He is the OSHA officer, I shouldn't say he's supposed
Yeah.
to be.
Yeah, and then the other thing that we're working on, Dan Fernandez, who is the new was promoted. He is the new buildings and grounds.
Oh, what was he before?
He worked for Dave.
Oh.
And Russ, he works for us now.
Okay, so it's not-
But they bumped him up. He was the I honestly don't know what his position was.
So what is
His
it,
title.
Russ? Russ was just doing that.
Yeah, Russ was
Interim.
just interim.
Because he's,
Yeah,
Emergency
Russ is still
manager.
emergency management. Yeah.
okay,
So Dan and I went to the hazard communication, which is also like right to know and the SDS sheets and all that. So
you
We-
went personally or?
yeah, it was an in-person
Where
class.
was
And, it was at the water treatment plant for Northampton, but it was in Haydenville. So it was a bit of a haul.
Wow,
But it was a nice ride. I think it was on Halloween that we actually had that. So that was good. So that's the other thing. We have all the SDS sheets. But I don't think that's been updated in quite some time. So
do you have them electronically?
no. So we're gonna update that whole thing. And most of it will be stuff that they have in buildings and grounds, DPW and fire. And maybe police a little bit, but I think those will be the three big departments that are involved, that are gonna have a lot of different things.
Now the school is separate.
Totally separate. They're their own thing. And then Western Mass Public Health. We had our Title V conference last week as well. I was actually a speaker at the conference. That went pretty well.
Now,
So
you're president?
Yeah.
Congratulations.
thanks.
So you contributed to the Title V conference?
Yep.
Okay, wow, good.
And did it. My talk was on like because there's a lot of like new inspectors in all the different in the area. So I did a talk on just kind of like the overview of the whole permitting process for Title V, from when you get the failed Title V to the perk and all of the kind of different things you have to consider reviewing the plan and inspections and COC and all that.
Oh,
So
nice. Hey, since we have Kayleen on and Terry doesn't go to the meetings, we're having the next one in December. Kayleen, you want to give Terry an update of things going on?
Sure. We have a survey that we're bringing out to residents in town in all 6 of our shared service community towns. I had left it on Samantha's desk, so I will email that to you all the board members to make sure that you guys get that. But we have
They
a
have it.
QR code. Okay, so there's a QR code link, and we're just trying to get people to engage with the shared service agreement and have awareness of our nurses and the topics that we're trying to discuss with people. So right now we're kind of working, Trisha, Marianne, and I are working on the new parent program, pooling the opioid abatement funds with the 6 towns. That's kind of in the works. We've been working with Tapestry Health in Westfield. We're really hoping to either do a Narcan box outside of the town halls or a Sharps disposal box with those funds. So hopefully we can get that rolling in the next couple of months. But those are the 2 main things we've been talking about. So just trying to get people. Yep.
Isn't there a shots disposal at the police station?
Yes, but it gets locked up when the police station, I don't know for sure in all of the towns, but we're really trying to make them anonymous, kind of, hidden. When they're in a police station, I just have found with the research that Marianne and Trisha and I have been doing, it doesn't make for easy access for people. So we're trying to make it more equitable and accessible for people to use. So if it's outside of a town hall, residents could come, drop it off whenever they choose to at any time. And it gives a little bit more privacy. So that's kind of our hope there.
And then who would maintain it and empty it, and where would you empty it?
Tapestry. Yeah,
Tapestry.
Tapestry does all of that. All of the harm reduction practices they do actually for free. So
Paid for
that-
free.
yeah. So we would just pay for the setup of the boxes and they do all of the disposal. So it's an exciting opportunity, actually. So I'm hoping that one of them will be able to come to our next board meeting and kind of discuss it with all of the board members, is our hope.
And how's the parent, the newborn?
Yeah, Trisha and Marianne have just started their training. That is every Wednesday for the next, I want to say 4 weeks, 4 Wednesdays, I believe. So once they get that, they'll have the certification and the updated practices for newborns. I know that they felt like they weren't ready yet, and it had been a long time since they'd been around newborns to start that whole process up again. And then we're waiting on legal approval to our informed participant notice. And then once that is done, I think it's ready to start. So we'll be talking to the town clerks, getting the information on new parents and sending those invitations out. We just got those a couple weeks ago, so it should be up and running soon.
How long does it take for the town to be notified of a birth?
I don't remember. I think was it like a 1 to 2
It-
weeks typically that
I
they
believe
receive?
yeah, I wanted to say 2 weeks, but I have to double check that.
You mentioned the legal approval.
Mhm.
My recollection is that the attorney had reviewed it and said he had some edits, but we never got the edits. Is that
Yeah,
correct?
I think that's
Okay.
where the last time I
I
heard about it,
will-
yes.
I will send a gentle reminder.
Yeah, I believe he said it was just minor edits, so it shouldn't be
Yeah,
long.
yeah. I was expecting, just like he sent me that first email. I was kind of expecting like the next day. Oh, here you go. It's all good. But
Yeah. Were we waiting on
but-
something else from him? I can't remember. I want to say that there was another thing from him we were waiting on, but I don't know. I can't remember.
yeah, I
now.
don't. I'll have
Maybe-
to look back at my
maybe I'm wrong.
emails.
But yeah, so those 2 things are pretty in the works. They should be ready soon.
Thank you. No, that was great.
All right, good. We'll see you in December,
Yes,
Yeah.
December 10th.
December 10th, okay. And our meeting is when, December
Number 5th.
5th. Okay, anything else? Any unanticipated items? In the past 48 hours?
I don't think so.
No,
No, I can think of.
anything bad?
Not for me, not for me.
Okay, Samantha, you're all set?
Yes.
All right. Make a
So,
motion.
yes, I move that we adjourn
50.
at 6:50.
I second that. All in favor?
Terry Putnam, yes.
Subraska, yes. Thank you for coming, everyone. Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
I hope you feel better